All right, so here we go. All right, good to be here. Good to be here. I want to go ahead and give you guys a recap of last week's show. Last week's show on Facebook was bananas. I got a lot of calls, I got a lot of texts, a lot of emails from that show, and it was absolutely awesome. I had a lot of calls and a lot of inquiries after the show because I talked about a lot of different things. So y'all got to forgive me if it went long. It is what it is. It's my first time going live. So this is my second live show. Here I am on YouTube, and hopefully this is coming out pretty good here. So what I want to do is I wanted to give a quick recap of the show, but I also want to share with you the number one question that I got to deal with as of last week's show, having to deal with credit and people going about checking their credit. There were questions about credit apps and credit repair companies. So a lot was going on when it came to questions dealing with credit and being able to qualify, going through the underwriting process and talking to lenders. So here's the thing. I want to give you my top 3 tips when you are thinking about going in and buying a house when it comes to making sure that your credit is together. Because there was one slide on there that showed the average credit of a new home buyer going into this market was say about 680. Now you can get into a house with a lower credit score than a 680. However, it doesn't offer you, many times those programs don't offer you the best rates. So your interest rates will be a little bit higher and so on and so forth. So it means you'll pay a little bit more monthly. But let me just go ahead and just dive into it right now. I promise not to keep you guys an hour like I did last week, which was bananas, but I got a lot of inquiries. I got a lot of good feedback. So thank you for everybody for watching. So the importance of credit is the simple fact that you have to have it. The banks are trying to understand, are you a good enough credit risk? Do you have enough capacity if your transmission went on in your car and you have to pay your mortgage? Which one are you going to do? Now, obviously, you need your car to get ready to go to work to pay for the mortgage, but as much as the car is a necessity, creditors are trying to understand if you have enough cushion there, is there enough there in order for you to be able to pay that monthly mortgage? So here are my top 3 tips when it comes to credit. What I believe everyone needs to do is go to one of the big 3. I particularly prefer Equifax or Experian. TransUnion is okay, but TransUnion usually has a little bit higher credit score, which everybody likes to look at first. But generally, the 2 main credit bureaus are Equifax and Experian. And I went to Equifax today, and I didn't see where you could actually order all 3 bureau reports. Now, I might not have been able to find it, but I did go to Experian.com, and I was able to find where you could actually order all 3 reports. Now, the credit card companies, I mean, these reporting agencies have gotten kind of, into the whole credit monitoring game. So now they offer you a bunch of different things like monitoring your credit and understanding your credit, and there's a monthly subscription for each one, and it's kind of all over the place as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not sure if it's 100% necessary unless you're so far out that you know that you're going to need help with monitoring your credit. What I want you to do is go to, where did I find it? I found it at Experian. Yes, Experian.com. And you need to look under the tab where it says reports and scores. Click that tab and it will show you 3 bureau report, which is going to cost you $39.99. And let me tell you from experience, it is 110% worth it, because what it will enable you to do is it will enable you to download your credit report from all 3 bureaus. It will show what your open and revolving credit lines are, who your creditors are, and hopefully it'll show some contact information. So if you're like me and you got a AT&T phone bill from, say 1995 with a $10 balance, but it's still reporting on my credit, which it had been until I actually got that thing paid off, then those are the things that you're going to want to go through line by line and try to understand who now holds that debt, so that you can go ahead and make an arrangement to either pay that thing off or get it paid off, or do whatever it is you need to do, make payment arrangements. So, of course, you get the argument, hey, these things fall off after 7 years. In some cases they do, in most cases they don't, because that loan or that amount that you owe your original creditor is bought by another creditor, and it could be sold and bought by another creditor, and so that thing can keep reporting. So even after 7 years, if AT&T owned it for 6 years and then they sold it to XYZ credit agency, and they're trying to collect on that $10 debt, well, they just got it, so it might be their first year, so it could go on, and it just kind of perpetuates. So it's a bugaboo, it's a pain to deal with, but it's one of those things. So that's the first thing. Go to Equifax. Go to Experian. Get your 3 credit reports for $39.95, and then that way, I would suggest this. The second thing is to sit down with your lender. Once you have it, print it out and take it to your lending institution, whether that's your bank, your credit union, or wherever. If anyone can help you get through the hurdles of the underwriting department, is going to be your lender. They'll be able to take a look at what you have and come up with what we call a credit game plan. So they'll be able to say, hey, we need to write some letters and, see if we can get some things taken off or disputed, or whether or not you need to refinance that car you just bought 2 years ago or sell that car you just bought 2 years ago to bring it down your debt to income ratio. Now, with that being said, it's going to take a little bit of legwork on your part. Trust me, I understand. I've been through it. I saw off my own credit over decades ago now. But it took me having to write the letters, having to write the dispute letters, having to check on the credit, having to constantly monitor. And that's before all of this stuff, all of this Credit Karma and XYZ had already been out. So, a lot of legwork, but it was totally worth it. Some of the things that I understand a lot of my clients bring to me now, they're saying that, hey, I have this app, it looks at my credit, and that's great. But I do not endorse any free credit reporting app. You get what you pay for. I mean, it just is what it is. So I say that, one of the things that when I look at it, I'm like, hey, I want to hear it directly from, one of the big 3. Where is my credit? Where are you ranking me? And it's the culmination of those 3 scores for Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian that gives you your overall FICO score. And that's the thing that the lenders are looking at. So with that being said, make sure you sit down with your lender. Make sure you go over your credit report, and that way you know exactly what hurdles you need to go through in order to get through their underwriting process. Because underwriting is where it's at. They are the ones that give you the yay or the nay when it comes to the loan. The third thing that I would say, and this is the tip number 3, is don't go disputing items just for the fact of that's what you've heard online, or that's what you've seen online, or that's what a credit company, one of these credit repair companies have told you to do. You cannot, in North or South Carolina, apply for a mortgage with a dispute, an open dispute on your credit. So a lot of these companies will go and they will dispute all of the negative items on your credit report, hoping that the credit card companies or whoever the holder is of that particular debt does not respond. So what they'll do is they'll go ahead and send out a whole bunch of dispute letters, which locks you down from actually going through the loan process before those disputes are actually resolved. So while they're charging you $99 a month to get these things resolved off of your credit report, there's so much time that needs to go by. You're not going through with your lender and doing what we call a rapid rescore every 3 weeks to see if something's come off of your credit. Somebody has to pay for that. Generally, if you're close enough and you're with a lender that you like and someone that's working with you, they may pay for that if they can see the light at the end of the tunnel for you. But if you're with one of these credit repair companies, they're not going to generally pay for that. They're going to monitor your credit, which means they're going to look at it on a however, weekly or bi-weekly or maybe even the monthly basis. But every month that credit monitoring happens and every month that it goes by, that's another month you have to pay for them to do something that you can do for yourself. So if you have XYZ, you know, debt company that has your loan, my advice would be to make sure you call them up, find a contact person there, pay that thing off, and then you bug the crap out of them until they report that to all three credit bureaus so that that thing is eventually dropped off. That's the only way that it really works. And it's a lot of leg work. Some companies do a really great job at this. I have found that very few actually follow through the way that they should. And so therefore it just depends on how long you're invested into their program. I mean, think about it. If you're in one of those credit repair programs for 6 months, that's $600 on average if you're looking at $99 a month. So you got to weigh the pros and the cons, whether or not being in any one of those particular programs is actually worth it versus something that you can pretty much do on your own. But the first step, and this is to me the most crucial step, is to see for yourself what is on your credit report. And the only way to do that is to either A, get your free credit report, which you can do for once a year. You can request a free credit report from all three bureaus, and they have, you know, really big buttons on there. Get your free report. You will have to give them a little bit of information to access that report, but you can get it individually, or you can go ahead and pay the $40, get all three, download it, and know exactly where you are with each bureau. So with that being said, wow, this went by really quick. I just want to make sure there aren't any other questions out there. If anybody has anything going on, just let me just go ahead and kind of check in on the community here. Not a lot going on there, so I don't want to hold you guys up. But hey, just remember, if you're getting value from my channel, please make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that bell so that you can be notified when I do have upcoming lives. Again, this is probably like one of my first ones here, so this is the first one on YouTube. But make sure that you go ahead and hit the subscribe, hit the bell so that you're notified, and leave me a comment in the comment section below. A lot of great conversations happen in the comment section, and I'd love to be able to hear what you have to say. If you've worked through your credit, or if you've worked through a company that you found that you like, and they got you through there without any problem, and you were able to go ahead and purchase your home, please drop it in the comments below. We need to be able to share this information back and forth with one another, because like I said, there are a ton of people out there right now that are calling themselves credit specialists and, you know, dealing with credit, which is all well and fine. But when it comes down to it, how fast can they get these things remediated from your report, and making sure that all three credit bureaus are reporting the exact same thing? It's okay for them to do it for one or two if it goes through Experian or if it goes through Equifax, but it has to hit all three in order, just in case that debt is on all three. You want to make sure that it's taken off. And so some of these companies actually charge you per bureau. So there might be a charge for them taking it off Equifax. There might be additional charge taking it off Experian. There might be an additional charge taking it off TransUnion. So you want to make sure before you get into paying all of these fees to get your credit taken care of, that you start out knowing exactly who you owe, what you owe, and if possible, you find these folks and you try to make an arrangement for yourself. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you leave me some likes in the comments. Make sure you hit the subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week and on our new show, my new vlog called From House to Home. Thank you.